So what's so interesting is that there was a song called SOS, and it's sending out an SOS, sending out an SOS, and it's it's sending out an SOS message in a bottle. I send an SOS to the world. I send an SOS to the world. I hope that someone gets my. I hope that someone gets my message in the bottle. You know, sometimes I feel like putting out these messages and I don't know, I really do feel like a lot of people's hearts is wax cold. But I'm still going to put out these messages because our King and Savior, He left behind the 99 to save the one. When I think about my life, and when I think about my ministry especially, I remember earlier on, there was a person that told me that I was a teacher's teacher. I don't know about all of that, but I do know that all of us are teaching one another. Testimonies, clarities, and Abaya has given me messages because I'm going to share them. And I don't care anything about popularity. I don't. No, I don't. These messages is for somebody whose heart is not wax cold. Somebody who sees a pearl and cherishes it. When you look at a pearl, okay, when you're looking at a pearl, what do you see? Honestly, let's not fool around with this. This is life. When you see a pearl, what do you see? Based on what you see will determine on who you are at this very moment. Some will see a pearl and say, oh wow, is it fake or is it real? If it's real, oh my goodness, this pearl has a lot of value. I can get a lot of money. Where's the rest of the pearls? Beautiful necklace, maybe some earrings, a bracelet. Some will look at the pearl and say, oh yeah, it's valuable, and lock it away and don't take it out. And other people will look at the pearl and say, wow, that came from much conflict. But look at it now. Out of the conflict comes beauty. Now, which is more valuable? What it end up being or how it got there? In all of our lives, we can look at ourselves as pearls. Most of us. And, you know, out of this message, there's 3 messages by the grace of the Most High Yah. And I'm going to share this one. So as I received this message, I thought it was very riveting. And it gave a major insight to those who are victimized. Satan, he will, it says the stranger, when they want to take a person's home, they would do it one when they're not aware. They're soul tears when they're not aware. And also, they will go inside that house that seems of inactivity, and they will blind and bound of the owner of that house. Now, this is victimization. Nobody wants to go through such a thing. But this is what happens spiritually. Satan tries to bring the storm by hiding the sun. So, beautiful soul family, victimization. As I've mentioned in prior messages, there are two people, okay, and they're bullied. One person heals, chooses to heal, and one person doesn't. That one person that doesn't heal, they remain hurt. You see, those who choose to heal others. Hurt people, and healed people. That means it's a past tense. That means there was a process that took place. They end up healing others. So, healed people heal others. Healed is past tense, and heal is present tense. And they continue to heal others. Hurt people, there's no such word as the hurted, okay? There is hurt people, hurt others. There is no past tense because they have not moved on. Still caught up in a cycle. Now, beautiful soul family, those people who are hurt, that hurt others, they become the oppressor. They become the people that hurt them. And it's so diabolical, but it's also that they won't hurt anymore. So literally, they have bent to such a system. Now, our Abba Yah, he sends, our Abba Yah hears prayers. In the Holy Scriptures, it talks about the account of Hagar. Hagar and her son Ishmael. They were in the wilderness because Sarah didn't want them to be part of her household. So she had them leave. And, no, actually this was afterwards. Abraham had Hagar and Ishmael leave. He gave them water and he gave them bread, food, but that food and that water ran out. And she really thought that they were just Ishmael, her son, was going to die. And the thing about a beautiful soul family is that Abba Yah sent an angel saying that Abba Yah heard Ishmael's cry. Now, our Abba Yah, he hears the prayers in our heart. He hears it both vocal and non-vocal. Okay? Because really, we've been conditioned to view it from a point of words. But our Abba Yah, he hears frequency. He hears much more than words. He's the Alpha and the Omega. Okay? So when you may not have any verbiage coming through, but you only have tears, and sometimes tears in itself is silent, our Abba Yah hears it. So I don't want to get ahead of myself, but our Abba Yah hears our prayers, verbal and nonverbal. And he sends help. He sends a solution. You know, here we can see this account with Moses. We can also see this account with Noah. Because there had to been a time frame for these chosen ones of Yahuwah to be created for such a time frame, to be released, to go through the process of growth, development and growth, so on and so forth. And Satan knows this. This is nothing new to him. And so Yahuwah was showing me about this, was showing me about the wicked. Before they became wicked, they were victimized. And there's a lot of displacement. There's a lot of blame going into the wrong area, to the wrong people. And Satan brings about confusion, okay? Real confusion. And this is how he's able to get away, because those that have been victimized, tormented, it was Satan the whole time. But people want to blame Abba Yah. They don't, and then worship the one that put them in the problem to begin with. So, this is that message. Satan tries to bring the storm by hiding the sun. Makes it rain. See, when you see a storm, you're seeing wind, sometimes fire. You know, you're seeing water stirred up. That's all a storm, okay? The storm is meant to put people in fear, in a conditioned state. But Yah answers the prayers. But the thing is they give up. There will be people that will pray one prayer and will say, you know what, he's not going to do this. Or they may even think that they're not deserving of it. But lo and behold, our Abba Yah, as I mentioned earlier, is hearing the prayers of our heart. He understands our whimpering. He understands the tones in the voice. He knows it all. But there are some people that give up. They pray one prayer, maybe even two, but then they give up. They give up because Satan's still pursuing, trying to get them to doubt Abba Yah. You see, we see this in Genesis. We see how Satan brought forth doubt. We also see an account of, I believe it was in Yasher, how Satan was bringing forth discord between Sarah, Abraham, and their son, trying to fool them. But it didn't work. Not with Abraham and Sarah. I mean, not with Abraham and Isaac at least. Beautiful soul family. As we go further, Satan does so much to manipulate, to bring forth doubt. And so they end up bending the knee. Satan does all that he can to block the sun. You see, when you see a storm, it's because the clouds have blocked the sun. Warm front and cold front clashes. Now, we have to ask ourselves, what came first? Was it the light or the sun? When we think about all that has happened, he doesn't do anything new. And so when you realize that they're not doing anything new, you realize that they're stuck. We look at movies and it don't seem like there's any newness. It's all remakes. And this is something that Satan does. He's not doing anything new under the sun, but he's bringing forth doubt and he's causing people to come against one another. Children against children. Children against their parents. We see this in Holy Scriptures. It states that this is what children are going to do. They're not going to honor their mother and their father. They're going to come against them. Chosen ones, the children of the Most High Yah, have gone through a lot. They've gone through people pretending to be friends and lovers, spouse, so on and so forth, family members, but it was a facade. Satan really was able to take those that he had victimized and train them up in a way, I don't want to say trained because he doesn't, but he pretty much turned people away from those who were sent to help, to clarify. And what the wicked do, what Satan does, is he utilizes those who have been conditioned. And he makes them come against those who are there to help. In hopes that both parties will become wicked. He gets others to break the 10 Commandments. Now, on behalf of Yahuwah, love long suffers. Mercy endures. But there are those who decide that they're happy taking a bended knee for this world and its system and its trinkets. And so they willingly have adapted to pain. You know, there's an account in the book of Daniel. And that account is, I believe, in chapter 10. In that account, the Archangel Gabriel, is able to speak with Daniel, get to Daniel. And he explains to Daniel what took him so long, so on and so forth, that Yahuwah heard his prayer the first time. Now, what was so interesting is that Daniel was around other people. And those people could not understand what was going on. They did not see the vision as Daniel saw the vision. They did not see Archangel Gabriel. So they sensed what was going on energetically and decided to leave, actually run away and hide. And so what's so interesting, beautiful soul family, is that when there are people who are hurt, they've been victimized, they've been hurt, and they've been to a point of no return, as maybe they think, relying upon their own understanding. There's no way they can be forgiven by Yahuwah. Right? So, what's so interesting, beautiful soul family, is that they literally were running away from something that they actually longed for before. You see, in the midst of being victimized, a person will cry out for healing. They will cry out to be helped. And Satan knows this, of course, so he will play on them and make them think that Yahuwah did not hear their prayer. You know, when Archangel Gabriel went to Daniel, he told him, "You are beloved. You are beloved." And Yahuwah heard your prayer the first time, you see. Daniel did not stop at just one prayer. He continued forth. As a matter of fact, he fasted. And I believe strongly that that fast ended at day 21, because that's when Archangel Gabriel was able to make it to him and give him the clarity that was needed. Now, well, thank you, Father. What Yahuwah is just showing me to say is clarity, loyalty. When Daniel didn't give up, he fasted and he prayed. That was showing determination and loyalty. Now, Archangel Gabriel and Archangel Michael, they were showing dedication, determination, and loyalty, because no word returns back void. They could have said, you know what, this ain't worth fighting for. But they put forth the fight. This was happening in the spiritual plane. And so Archangel Gabriel needed Archangel Michael's assistance. And Archangel Michael could have said, nah, you know, this is not worth it. But no, he went in and fought. Archangel Gabriel was able to get away and give the clarity to Daniel that our Abba Yah commanded forth. No word returns back void. Every I is dotted and every T is crossed. So you know, they were running away from the energy, even though they couldn't see it physically. They knew that something wasn't right. And so in the same like way, beautiful soul family, when they come to an energy that is not their own, it is unsettling to them. They can't quietly put their finger on it, but they know that there is a quiet change. And so they were afraid, and so they hid. But there are other people who do things when they're afraid, like kill, steal, and destroy. They will do a whole lot of things out of fear, as a means of prevention. And what's so sad is that the children are learning. They're learning how to be a certain way. Now Satan, he doesn't want people to get any sun rays, any hope. So he waits for dark situations or manipulates dark times, brings about dark times, environments, waits until the owner is asleep, unaware, and will sow his tears. And because people are not used to being helped, they don't understand really what is going on. They believe that, okay, I have a car, and okay, I have a house, something tangible. But that's not what it's all about. It's about what's going on spiritually. So Satan will go ahead and find ways into people's energies to disrupt it. And I ask again, what came first? Was it the light or the sun? You see, for Abba Yah's children who've gone through a lot, all things happened, was allowed to happen, so that they could see the fine line. And the fine line is something that they can't blur out. We know where the light comes from. In Genesis it says, let there be light. We know where the light comes from. And we also know about the sun. So Satan utilizes his spawn to block the sun. Really what's trying to happen is to block the sun's rays. But the children of the Most High, yeah, we don't worship suns and stuff like that. We only worship Yahuwah. And so we know that even if they took away the sun, they take away the sun, but they're not taking away the light. They take away the sun, but they're not taking away truth. And so no matter what happens, we're happy that the light comes from Yahuwah. It was our Abba Yah. You see, in the In the New Testament, it shows about in the very beginning stages of where his disciples and King Yahusha was setting sail and whatnot. And King Yahushai, or King Yahusha, really, was sound asleep, so they thought. And this tempest brought up a storm to hinder, okay? And he stood and he said, "Ye of little faith." He stood up and rebuked the storm. He rebuked the storm, and everything settled down. So Satan will bring storms. It could be friends, it could be family, it could be co-workers, so on and so forth. But the whole point is to hinder, prevent. Satan doesn't want people to have hope. So he will block out the sun. He will plant his weeds, his tears. And it's so important that we should know this. With Yahuwah, he gives us the light. He gives us truth and understanding. And he doesn't lead us into confusion. So, when you think about it, and they're running away from something that they were praying for, but they ended up being conditioned to embrace the dark, or, so on and so forth. And then an energy comes to heal them. They have given up. And even though they knew where their energy is from, they continue to block the sun. Keep them hungered and thirsty. But, yeah, He gave His only begotten Son to pay a price to cover the cost and wipe out the debt. No weapon that forms against will prosper, really is up to the person. Are they going to continue to hurt others? Or will they heal? Until the next message, have a beautiful and wonderful day. And may Yahuwah continue to open up your eyes in these interesting times.